everybody, hello world. This is Aljoša Milenković, frozen as a popsicle here in Moscow. I'm very close to the Red Square, and I have to say it is -11, -12. It's very cold. It is another cold wave that hits Moscow. Just a few days ago here we had relatively nice weather. It was around 0 degrees centigrade now. This morning was -19, and the forecasters are saying that it will be even colder tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning is the election day here in Russia, because the Russians are going to vote for a new president of Russia. Apparently, they're saying that the new president will be the old president. It will be Vladimir Putin. According to all the exit polls or opinion polls, he is going to have roughly around 70% of the votes. Remaining 7 candidates will be, according, if we are to trust those polls, will be lined up. Second will be Pavel Grudinin. He is a leader, well not the leader, the candidate of the Russian Communist Party. He is going to be most likely second with around 7% of the votes. Third will be Vladimir Zhirinovsky, who will have most likely between 5 and 6% of the vote. Remaining 5 candidates will have no more than 1% per candidate. So, I came here to Russia to try to speak with Russians about what is happening in the elections. Are they happy with their president? And of course, to speak about the current tensions between the West and Russia, because as most of you most likely already know, there is a Skripal case, the poisoning of the former intelligence colonel of Russia. He was poisoned a few days ago, I think, in London. The UK authorities are saying that it was done by the Russians, by some nerve agent, allegedly called Novichok. But the Russians are saying that's not true, that's not the fact. So, because of all of that, I came here to Moscow, and I have to say I didn't expect that it would be so cold, so I wanted to apologize for my appearances, which are not so nice, but look, you have to deal with that, you have to roll with punches. Anyway, we're close to the Red Square. Just minutes ago, we don't know what happened. We've seen a riot police, OMON, which were trying to, not just trying, which actually removed people from this area. Because we will show you. Just maybe 10 or 15 minutes ago, this area was packed with people, tourists, people coming from all around the world. See the Red Square. But then, police came, this area, and just, I don't say chased away, they didn't. You will see on my right, the gates to the Red Square. Now, tomorrow's big day for the announcement of the new president, and most likely because of that, police have cleared this area. And as I said, behind me, the iconic Red Square, doors which are allowing people to get in. Let's come closer. Let's come closer now. To show you some iconic things characteristic for the Red Square. And of course, this is maybe one of several landmarks. Like for instance, it's Tiananmen in the Beijing, or like it's Champs-Élysées in the Paris, or Fifth Avenue in New York. Okay, now this is the place where we are heading right now. You will see a star down there. Many people are coming, and throwing a coin behind them. That's the custom here, because this spot is the spot or ground zero for Russia. all the roads are actually, which are starting in Russia, all the roads counted from this point. And as you can see, people are coming here, throwing their coins behind them, and taking the pictures of them. So this is the starting point of all the roads in Russia. So let's try to get a bit closer to Red Square to give you at least some look through these bars, the gates of Red Square. And behind you will see it's St. Basil Cathedral. And we still see people out there, and we see the police. Most likely because of tomorrow's the elections, they sealed off this area. Tourists still at the Red Square. We might try to go there. We might try to go there from the other direction and to try to speak with the people about the election. And in the meantime, until we start doing that, let me give you a few more ideas about the Red Square, about Moscow itself. Many people don't know that this town actually wasn't originally a Russian capital. The Russian capital was moved here hundreds and hundreds of years ago, and many of the Russian emperors have built this town from ground zero, from scratch actually. And this town was torched and destroyed several times by Tatars, by Mongols. Then, more recently, in the beginning of the 19th century, Napoleon was the last invader which successfully entered Moscow. But the problem was that the Russians torched down the entire city back then. And Napoleon's army, when they entered Moscow, they didn't have anything to eat, anything to sleep, and it was freezingly cold, even colder than now. And they had just to retreat back to France. Then back in 1941, Germans tried the same, but Germans stopped something like 50 kilometers, 60 kilometers away from here. And the thing is that ever since the beginning of 19th century, nobody actually, many of the invaders, nobody was successful to take a grip on Moscow. And the Red Square, everybody thinks it's because of Kremlin. That's why its name is Red Square. Actually, it wasn't. Back then, when it was constructed for the first time, the Red Square was made of wooden tiles. I know it sounds unbelievable, but yes, it was like that. It was the wooden blocks made like this. We now seen this concrete and stone blocks. No, then they were wooden, and the wood was red, and that's why the name Red Square. So during the time, of course, those wooden blocks deteriorated, and they were replaced by the stone blocks, which are right now, and which I hope we will see a bit later. So how about if we can try to go around and to go to get ourselves to the Red Square, and in the meantime I will give you a few more, try to give you a few more details about the Russia, what's happening, about the current situation with the Sergei Skripal poisoning, about the current situation, what people think about Russian President Vladimir Putin, about the opposition, and of course many other things. But don't forget, Russia is the biggest country in the world, land-wise. Okay, this speaker is a bit loud, so let's It's really amazing how many people are walking here outside. I'm from Serbia. We are in a country which is not so cold, and in our country when temperature is just around zero, everybody are back inside their homes and warming themselves up. Here you see a number of people, you know, walking around freely like it is. No, it's just -10. It's nothing. Right. And I'm freezing to death here. But anyway, let's go back. Let's go back to the Red Square. You'll see this is one of its most iconic metro stations. It is called metro station Teatralnaya. It means the metro station of the theater, and the entire metro system of of Russia, is hero of Moscow, is called Metro of Vladimir Ilyich Lenin. So he is the founder of Soviet Union, and he is actually the one who initiated that metro construction in Moscow. Before him, that was no metro in Moscow, so he initiated that, and because of him, even today, this metro is called Metro Vladimira Ilyicha Lenina. So we are now trying to go around this station and control the Kremlin on the Red Square. Not in order to give you a sense how it looks like, so we'll just follow the flow here in Moscow, or close to the Red Square. Most we will find a place to enter it. So let's go back to the story about the Red Square and about the Kremlin. So one of the most famous Russian dictators, or should I say czars, was Ivan the Terrible. He was known for being very, very brute, very harsh, very raw towards his adversaries. Anybody who was trying to oppose to him was just executed, just like that. And a number of times he did it by himself. He was the executioner. So right there, in the middle of the Red Square, they have a place where he performed those executions. That's right in front of St. Basil's Cathedral. And I think we are going to enter the Red Square. Just follow the flow, always. Follow the flow and you will be able, hopefully, to reach your final destination. So anyway, ever since from the Ivan the Terrible, all the heads of states or all the czars here in Russia have their headquarters in Kremlin. Kremlin was originally just a fortress. Okay, now we can try to go to the and we will enter the Red Square finally. Yeah. As you can see, all the people now are going to this pedestrian street and pedestrian area. Some New Year's decorations apparently still in the air. It is all grey during the winter. Everything is grey, so you need to have some color. You need to have some light. That's why these lights are most likely still here today, despite the fact that it is March 17th. So, I thought that within 100 meters we will be there at the location, which is seen as a prime location in Russia. Interesting enough, Russian special services have blocked GPS access to that area. So if you want to use your any kind of application which is using GPS, which is using Chinese satellite positioning system, which is using Russian satellite positioning system, which is GLONASS, they all will point you out to some areas which are 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 kilometers away from Moscow. For instance, when I'm trying to take a snapshot of the square, my geotagging on my phone is saying that, for instance, that the picture is taken at the airport Domodedovo, which is some 50 kilometers from this area. So most likely they did that because of security, because they don't want anybody with any kind of weapon, maybe, which is using GPS to try to do something here, or somebody who would like to try to use his drone here to do some filming or any kind of stunt. So forget about that. And speaking about stunts, back in 1980s, when still it was the Soviet Union, there was a German guy called Matthias Rust, or Rust, I don't know how it is spelled or said in German. So Matthias Rust used his small Cessna plane to fly all over Germany and landed in the Red Square. that was one of the most interesting things which happened back in the Cold War era. The Soviets were stunned because all of a sudden somebody with a small aircraft landed in one of the most preserved and guarded places in the Soviet Union, the Red Square. And ladies and gentlemen, right now we are entering the Red Square. Okay, what you can see now, a lot of tourists, including from Russia, and you can see this beautiful street. Okay, and look, here are the gates which we were trying to go through just earlier. For no reason, but anyway, let's give you a walk. As you can see, a lot of tour guides. I'm acting as one. You can go with us, you can try Russian food, for instance. And you can see this here, that is a place where apparently many TV stations will do their coverage of the elections here in Russia. Because as I said, tomorrow is a big day for Russia. Let me show you. I will just move away from the shot. This is the Red Square. This is one of the most iconic places in the whole world. On your right is the Kremlin. Right there is the mausoleum of Vladimir Ilyich Lenin, who I mentioned just earlier. On the left, you can see it was the most iconic shopping place in former Soviet Union called the GUM. It is spelled G-U-M, and it means General Universal Magazine. Right now it is one of the most expensive places in Russia. All the shops inside are the shops of the world's most expensive brands, including Ferrari, etc, etc. Something that we ordinary people can just dream about. So back then it was the place, showcase of the Soviet society and the Soviet economy. All the best places, all the best shops were right there. Same thing. So anyway, these were those stone bricks, or should I call them like that, or stone cubes right now. So you see all those yellow and white lines here? Those are for the military parade, which is happening every May 9th, every year from year 1945. So let's just enjoy a little bit in the